So obviously Nattie needs no introduction, so we can just jump right into the local team BoF.
Hello, I think we've still got a couple groups that would like to attend, I think. Or shall we just jump right in? Jump right in. Okay. Hello, I'm Nattie. This is the local Groups BoF. This is primarily an attempt for local groups to present themselves, and then after that to discuss how we can kind of interact and work together and kind of get that going for the coming year. Hello, have a seat. So who'd like to go first? Well, first of all, I see we have Brazil, we have Cape Town, we have Taiwan. Any other groups? Montreal, yay! Yes, Israel also. So I guess who'd like to go first in presenting? Do we have one group from Brazil or multiple ones? Because I know there are like separate activities, but you can also like. Because you can always talk about the activities. That's also true.
Nattie, we just need to sort of pass the mic around for video purposes. Yep. So we can, once we start.
So who'd like to start?
Right, so I'll be talking on behalf of the Debian Brasilia community, so capital of Brazil. We have been doing a bunch of things lately. We did a talk in the beginning of the week about that. So anyone interested can watch that after DebConf. But we are doing some great stuff. We had this mini DebConf in the beginning of the year. We are doing like weekly meetings using Jitsi. So there we can interact, we can help newcomers with packaging, translations, and whatever. So it's working pretty well. Every week we have at least I don't know, 8, 10 people attending. So it's really good. It's working pretty well. The numbers don't lie. So we had like more than 100 uploads to Unstable. We have more than 1,000 translations to Brazilian Portuguese. So I think we are doing really great. We started this mentorship program there because we felt that newcomers had a hard time to start contributing because we have documentation spread all the places, and it's hard for them to start. So we identified that issue. We select a bunch of mentors, people already contributing to the project. We gather a bunch of new people wanting to dedicate some time to that. And we match a mentor and a mentee, and they work together depending on their goal. If it's like, I don't know, I want to package software X, or I want to become a DM to do this, or DD to do whatever. So we set goals, and the mentor help those newcomers to reach those goals. So I think I think that's a summary of some initiatives that we're doing. We also have a bunch of internal tools that we use that's not in Debian, so we also identify issues with newcomers interacting with the broad community VRC. It's hard for them to use that, they don't know how to do that. So we created bridges with Matrix. We also have a bridge of our RC channel to Telegram, because there's still some newcomers that they don't even know what Matrix is. So yeah, we do have that. We set up a web application that's an IRC client / bouncer, so they can easily join and talk to the community. So that's really cool. We set up a Nextcloud instance for us to store all the data, photos of the events and whatever that we do. We also set up our own wiki because unfortunately editing the Debian wiki nowadays is hard. Not everyone can access to that easily. So we created our own solution for now. That's something that would be great to discuss. How can we improve that in Debian as well? So yeah, I think I talked too much already. Someone else can.
That's quite all right.
Hello, I'm Paulo from Brazil too. Just to explain, you have Debian Brazil as a national community in Brazil, of course, and you have some local groups in cities. For instance, some folks here are in Brasilia, like Kanashiro said now. I'm in Belo Horizonte, it's another city. We have Maceió, we have Campinas, and some Brazilians live in another country. So it's like Sérgio, like Arthur. So sometimes we talk about the Debian Brazil as a national. Sometimes we talk about some local in the cities.
Oh,
so
don't forget Curitiba.
Curitiba, yes. Some folks from in Curitiba. I was living there, but now I'm living in Belo Horizonte. So basically, we are trying to encourage some although we have the national community Debian Brazil, but we are working to encourage new local communities in the cities, because these communities, they can organize Debian days, they can organize release parties. That is something that as national we can't do, only online maybe, as we did this year. But we are working to improve, to encourage people to create these local communities, like we are showing what Brazilian people are doing there. And they say, look, they are doing a lot of works there. You can do the same in your city. You can gather people there to talk in person, face to face, instead of just use some social media or some online events. So basically, in Brazil, we are working with that. Some places we don't have local communities, but we have people using Debian there. People that say, I'm using Debian here in my city, but I don't see other people here, and I'd like to meet other people, to join, to go to a bar, to a restaurant, or to organize some event here as Debian Day. And we are trying to encourage people to do that in these cities. Basically, some while ago, there was an idea to organize state communities for state, because Brazil is divided like in states, but we prefer to work as in cities now, because usually in states people can't meet together, but in the cities it's easier to meet everybody and work together locally, face to face, something like that. This is for now.
Should we just? Oh yeah.
Okay, so for Cape Town. So from our side, I'm very new to the local team thing. We basically just joined this year. And for our local team presence, we've held a little release party for Debian 12, which was quite nice. And then we started planning for Debian Day, the 30th year celebration for Debian. And we went a bit all out, I think. There was cake, so it was good. So we held a celebration party, and we made some 30th Debian 30th mouse pads, which I think look really cool. I do have some here. Yes, I did. They will be available after. And there's not one for everyone, but there is some. So local teams. So they will be enough for everyone in this room at least, and then we'll see who's lucky enough after. So our next big thing is we will be planning mini DebConf in November next year. So we've already got a venue for the plan, and then we'll have to see how it'll come together. Do you want to just talk about the hybrid talks?
Yes, we're also thinking of maybe trying a hybrid type scenario where we have maybe 3 local groups from different countries, having a talk at each location, and then connecting over the internet to join in and just trying that out. So if there's any volunteers, maybe we can set up something like that, just to test the technology and maybe also have something in place for a bigger, if there's something needed in the future. Yeah, but it's a very new idea, so it's just like we need some ideas, suggestions, and yeah.
And South Africa is in the same time zone as most of Western Europe, so that's really
Pretty
nice.
much, or an hour further, depending.
So we just need some volunteers. We were thinking to start with 3 local groups, and then we can all get together in our little hubs and just test the idea for like maybe a 4-hour online event. So who's next?
Someone's got opinions in the back.
Thank you, Tassia.
I'm Tassia, also from Brazil, but currently living in Montreal. We hosted the conference a few years ago in 2017, 17. And since then, well, before, of course, we were together to plan the conference. And then after the conference, we managed to keep meeting. We don't have that regular meetings, or we don't meet quite often, not as often as the Brazilian group, but we do meet once in a while, and we do, or sometimes we travel to Toronto to meet folks in Toronto, Sergio, and so it's Montreal-Toronto group. And we're having the next meeting in about 10 days from now. And yeah, we do a bit of randoms. We don't organize like events. It's more meetups, and we each do our stuff. But we do meet, and we have open doors to newcomers, and just not so much structured activities as other groups.
Why is the mic with me? No, okay, just okay. So I'm from Brazil. I live in the southeast of the country. It's hard. Southeast of the country, and the guys there are in Brasilia. It's in the middle of the country. Paulo is also in the middle. Curitiba is in the south. So I tried to organize a Debian Day there, the 30 years. It was a successful event. A lot of people show up, and I was very, very happy with that. I also do join the Debian Brasilia online sessions, online meetings every Thursday, 7 p.m.
Hold the mic a little closer so we hear.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
sorry.
thank you.
I guess, well, for next year, Debian Brazil, for sure, mini DebConf will be there, and so probably in Belo Horizonte. So, yeah, I guess that's it.
Hello, I'm Paul from Taiwan. And yeah, for Taiwan local community, currently we don't have regular meetings like before, but it doesn't mean that we are inactive, and it actually means we are more active. So, for example, we have non-Debian specific open source meetings, and you can see that not only some people promoting Debian or you just use Debian, but actually some people teaching people to do real packaging. And yeah, and also you can notice that we have established a Debian Taiwan channel on Telegram, and there's always people asking questions there. And I never do any answers because always there's someone answer the question before me. So yeah, so people get the problem solved very fast. Okay, that's the current status.
Anybody else? Belgium, yes, so hi. Oh, wait, no, there we go. No, you do it. Not Belgium yet.
I'm not going to talk about Belgium. So Israel, we have some Debian Day release parties. We have been doing it for several years. Other than that, and of course working on DebConf also for several years. Other than that, I can't say there's much activity, but yeah, working on that.
Okay. Belgium now, I suppose. There was a release party in Leuven in June, and there was a 30th birthday party a few days after the actual 30th birthday, because, you know, celebrating in advance is bad form, according to. And there, I think we made a vague plan to sort of connect more with the community in the Netherlands, because, you know, well, okay, divided by a common language, perhaps. I can see Joost laughing at me because he never understands me when I speak Dutch. And I also have somewhat of an idea to try and find out what there is in terms of communities not only in Flanders but also in Wallonia, so across the language border. So we're sort of trying to... Belgium's not very large. We need to kind of join forces with other people. Well, other people. It's not a very large contingent that we have there, but it's present. So yeah, that's what we've been doing. Hopefully get a few more meetups going. Yes. So I guess the next point on the entirely imaginary agenda here is to talk about how we as small groups can join forces and share resources. So has anybody got any ideas? Because I don't.
I have a kind of question, some small follow-up on that. Is there something that we can do as a project to make it easier
Thank you.
for local groups to get more support? Is there something that we can do to make it easier or to help them? It would be nice to hear that now.
Well, that's the reimbursement thing, but I think work is happening now to make that more smooth. So that is one major thing, I think.
There was a talk earlier on this week about the reimbursement website, and that will make things a lot smoother than it is now.
On the pad, I listed some events that we had since last DebConf, and I realized that we don't have a central place that we can see all events that are happening around the world about Debian. I think you told about something, create an agenda, right?
Yeah, it would be nice to have.
Calendar.
Somebody suggested to me that it would be nice to have an events calendar. I suspect I may have volunteered to run it. So yeah, if you have an event, write to me. Hopefully there'll be an actual function email for that later.
Yeah, because basically today we have Debian Days, release parties, bug squash parties, and some general events, other events. And I believe it would be nice to have everything like a calendar or something like that.
Exactly, yeah, I'm happy to try to run that. If anybody wants to help me, that's also good.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, for the moment, just tell me and hopefully I'll get that posted somewhere. Oh,
The folks from the back are from India, no?
With
Is anyone local from here? Because I think we mixed.
oh, I mean,
Can you introduce your group?
yeah, come sit near us. I mean, so we don't bite.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, actually, I'm newbie to Debian.
Make sure the mic picks you up.
Hi.
That's better.
Yeah. In fact, I'm a newbie to Debian. I just want to collaborate with you guys. That's all. Yeah.
Is there any active group in your city or state? Have you been to local events?
Basically, in our organization, we just started using the Debian. I'm from the server team. As of now, frankly speaking, I'm not part of any local groups like that. I need to check. Really, I don't know whether local groups exist in our region or not. I need to check. Yeah. We just started using the Debian in our organization. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I Possibly we do need to have a bit more publicity for local groups. We do, I think, there is a page on the wiki somewhere, and I think a year or 2 or 3 ago, I can't even remember at this point, we tried to do a bit of a census of, we didn't get very far. I think we should probably have another go. I think it would be very nice, anybody out there watching, if you have a local group and you're not here right now and you'd like us to be aware of it, write to us. We do have a mailing list, the address of which I don't have to hand, but I'll try and stick it in the talk notes afterwards. Yeah, sorry.
About local group census, I know there's a list of Debian users and institutions which are using Debian.
Oh, interesting.
And a website, and it's maintained, and there is some infrastructure to ping and to make the maintenance slightly more easy.
Yeah,
So
we can try that, and we did also try the list. That
okay.
I think that was, even when we tried it last, it was quite outdated.
Yeah,
but I think gradually people, yeah.
I think you would have to run again every half year or something. It goes extremely fast. People come and go, and it's
yeah.
just,
Thank you. So answering Jonathan's question, and being perhaps a little bit lazy, if you forgive me.
I was going to say
here. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
that
you.
works.
And my let me join you all. As a one-man group, as Tassia mentioned, joked, I would like it. It would be nice to have a page or some set of instructions or tips or advices for, especially from the local successful groups that you guys have, about how to bootstrap a group in a city that you are an immigrant, you didn't go to university, so you don't have that connection usually that you have from university cities and all. You work from home. So you don't go to an office. You don't have the opportunity to talk to people about Debian over in the water fountain. So that would be nice for me because I've been struggling with that idea for a while. The Brazilians know, and they perhaps joke about every year when I talk to them, I complain about, oh yeah, I'm the only one here, and I would like to bootstrap a community, but I just don't know where to start in those conditions. Yeah. So that would be something, perhaps not only for me, of course, but for
for any sort of small community, just to I mean there must be people in Toronto who would love to join you.
Right,
and
just 3 million people, right? So
getting the word out. I mean, I know at least one person who lives there, so
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, we talked about to have a mobilization instance just for this case of gather people from some places to have some news about that, mobilization. Maybe it's social team, I think. Jonathan?
Did you say something about the Debian social team? What was the question?
About the mobilization instance.
So the thing that Paolo is mentioning, I don't know how many of you know meetup.com. It's a very popular site where you find people with common interest. But there's an open source version of this that we want to install up on the Debian Social website at some point. So this might be nice to schedule events, to find times that work best for most people, and to find events, Debian events that's happening close by to you all over the world. We just haven't gotten around to install that yet. There's some other things that we also want to install Debian Social, so this is kind of slightly lower on the list at the moment, but we'll eventually get there. It is still on the list. I think we're out of time. Was this a 20 or 45?
I think it's a 45.
Oh, okay, let's continue then.
Oh yeah, good.
I don't know how hard that is, but actually the reimbursement process has been proven lately. But could we have at least a pre-approved budget for local teams to organize events or something like that?
Yes, you just have to ask for it.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, but we consider that we already have that. I know that you approve most of the things that we ask, but I mean, like we have for attending bus crash parties, something like that. We used to have a pre-approved budget, so we don't need to bother asking you that. We already have that, you know. I don't know.
I think there's something starting to make the reimbursement process. Yeah, I mean, you already said. Sort of one-stop shop.
There's also, except for the new reimbursement process, there's also been a few ideas that floated around over the years. So one thing might be to have like a pre-approved budget that if a DD wants to spend some money up to a certain amount, they can do it without asking the DPL. I don't know if we're going to do that, but I think it makes sense for many. We can make that as long as it fits these checkboxes. You can just claim it back and it will happen. So that might happen. And the other idea was that within the local groups team, if we can make like a kind of committee, then you can say then a local group that's well established can draw up a budget for the year. They can say this is what they do in Montreal already in Canada. They say we're doing 5 sprints and meets this year. This is how much budget we want for this year's events, and then it gets approved once, and they don't ask for approval again. So they buy whatever meals they need or stickers that they make out of that budget, and that works well. So we can do that for other local groups too. Then you don't have to ask for reimbursement multiple times. So if you can draw up a budget in advance, it makes it easier for everyone.
In Brazil, someone asked me if they need to be Debian developer to ask you, I will ask you, the leader, you in this case, to get something approved, a budget approved, to spend money with some local event.
I didn't get the question. You stated that someone asked for approval from DPL. I probably approved it because I approve everything.
No. Someone asked me if they need to be Debian developer to ask you. If it's any contributor can ask you for money.
Yes, ideally, we like, almost like you sponsor a package. We like the idea that another DD says, yes, we want this person there, or we think this is a good idea that we spend this money on this person. It just helps give it that credibility that we need, because I don't even know all the DDs, so even knowing all the people beyond that is impossible.
Did you want it?
No, I'm just Talkmeister.
Oh. Trying to think. Oh.
Yeah, it's another subject. So we in Debian Brasilia, we are trying to build our own tools to gather data and statistics about the work that we've been doing. I don't know if there is any initiative.
Just with the mic.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's
Thank
better.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that works nicely. Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know if there is any tooling already in place for us to do that. For instance, we are using our own scripts using UDD to collect all of that, but for instance, we don't have data about translations and other things that we do. We came to the Debian contributors BoF. We're trying to gather more data in more different sources, and I don't know if there is anything that we can track for local groups, like how active is each group, what they're doing, and then we could map that and in some way understand how the Debian community is working worldwide, stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't have much formal at the moment on the global Debian groups level, if that's what you want to call it. But it would be nice if you could share some of the tools you've been working on, so that we can either make it more formally part of standard Debian process, and that we can share it with other local groups as well. Maybe more people can help work on these tooling, and maybe we can learn a lot from that, because I'm curious what all the tooling does, but it sounds good.
I wrote an idea on the pad about something different. For those local groups that don't have a Debian developer or a Debian maintainer there, if you could create some kind of role, some kind of title or something like that for the one person that is there. Like Fedora has the ambassadors, but the ambassadors is a little bit more than I'm thinking, because the ambassadors, they can represent Fedora, this kind of thing. But maybe for this local community, so he can have, the communities that don't have a DD, a Debian developer, we can have someone with some title, some role, some kind of that can make it easier identify people that are not part of the community yet. I don't know the name of that, or if it's something possible. It's some idea that I wrote there.
I think the idea is good in principle. I haven't quite worked out how to implement it yet. I mean, we could either go with sort of, well, if there's already somebody kind of prominent in the local community who's doing the organizing, then that should be recognized. If it's kind of people who don't necessarily, if there's not like one particular person, then I think we could offer some kind of mentorship as well. Like, you know, ask us for help, we can help.
Yeah, and within DebConf, you have this page that shows all the team roles of all the people who are involved with DebConf and what each person does. You could have something like that for the local group, so that when people come to visit your pages, they know, oh, this person is responsible for the website, this person does outreach, this person does that. That's one way you can assign some titles, at least internally. I like the Fedora ambassador kind of idea, but I think we need a bit more local groups and a bit more structure before we can decide on what we'll call that and how we'll implement that. But maybe, hopefully someday it will happen.
Sorry. Anyone else? How are we doing for time? Anybody got any other things to discuss?
Any ideas?
Any ideas? We could talk about the running of small events also.
Yeah.
And how to sort of share resources between those. But sorry, were you gonna?
Yeah, I split the events in a list of two. Basically, you have Debian at events. For instance, at FOSDEN, that usually we organize booths there. We have an event in Brazil named Latinware. This kind of event that is not a Debian event, but Debian is there with booths. And our local events, like mini DebConf, Debian Days, Release Party, and so on. So basically, I think it's important to think this difference, because sometimes we can do more going to these events and publicity that Debian is going there, that we have a booth, you have some gifts to give, this kind of thing. And the other is the real local events organized by us, by Debian community.
Yes. I lost the thread a little bit toward the end, but...
I think it was about booth kits.
Yes, booth kits. Ongoing effort there. So I think it would be good. We think it would be a good idea, like within a certain area, for Debian at events, like you were saying, to just have a ready-made kit that contains all the stuff that you need. So like banners, the info flyers that keep sitting on the table. Small swag is very good. Bigger swag if we like, though that gets a bit more complicated in terms of selling, but giveaway swag is super easy to kind of chuck in a box. And also I think that it's quite nice if some of that can be exchanged among groups as well. So, I mean, it's nice to go, ooh, this is, you know, shiny new stickers from the Brazilians, or, you know, insert item from insert group here. Because, yeah, I think it's very much in the spirit of sort of sharing the stuff and all that. So, you're about to say something, because you have all the swag.
Okay, so we did make a little bit of swag.
Tiny bit with microphone.
Yeah, we did make a little bit of swag for DebConf just to show our presence and so on. But yeah, it is very possible for us to do a sharing of swag, stickers, T-shirts, whatever it is.
Absolutely, I'm super into the idea.
Yeah. So on my point, I just wanted to ask again for the volunteers. So you would be volunteering one talk and your local team for the hybrid talks, so that we can maybe start with the first round and just test that. So you can either volunteer now or afterwards. If you could come see us, please. So Nattie, just back to the merchandise or the swag. Is there any specific requests or something that that we should try and think about, or is it just basically anything that's awesome to sort of motivate our Debian contributors?
I think the latter. I mean, there's been the odd suggestion, but we're open to suggestions. The one thing I would stipulate is it should be good quality. We don't want to be giving out tat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You don't want to go through all of that effort just for it to end up in some bin. Yeah, no, definitely.
So.
Yeah, maybe I can add. I remember it being kind of taboo to give away stuff for free. There should at least be a donation box. So at events, sometimes you have people who just go like a grass mower along all the booths and take everything they find. We don't want that. So that's.
I mean, there's a difference between sort of giveaway swag and swag that we sell. I mean, some of us might remember sort of the Debian UK T-shirt sales of years past. That could still be organised by a local group, for example. Or similar items, but yeah, I mean, I think there's a difference between sort of stickers and, I mean, they should also be good quality, but especially sort of T-shirts should definitely be things that stand up to time and don't sort of fall apart after 3 washes. Anyone else? Oh, do it, yeah.
Anyone wants to finish that topic? Because I want to bring a new one.
No, I think we're all...
Yeah. Okay, so just giving a context about what I'm trying to say now is we face a lot of things in Debian Brasilia and moving back and forth, trying to bring people in to the project. And also, Sergio said, like, how we can bootstrap a new local group. And like, we all getting older day by day, and we sometimes don't understand the new generation that we have today. And for years and years, we go to the university, we try to take people to the local community. But I think we evolved in a way that we don't have that workforce anymore. And we want to grab as much people to understand what is Debian and show them how can they contribute to the project. So what I'm saying by the end is we should probably start thinking, that's just a thought that I have, like to use other social media networks to grab people to the project. The social medias that people use, and we can put some adverts on that and say like, we can base on the groups that people use, so we can match hashtags like Linux, Debian. So if the person likes to see videos on Instagram about Linux or Debian, probably if we put an advertise about the boot camp, for example, that someone created in that city, all that people that likes those topics will receive advertise with the Debian banner of that bootcamp, and will be able to open a website or anything and understand more about it. That's just an idea of it, but we can use a bunch of methods, not only Instagram, but Facebook or TikTok, to get to those people. Because that's the big thing. We go to the university, but every time we need a bunch of people to go in the classes and explain what is Debian. And sometimes they don't even know what is Linux or what they're trying to, what they're looking at. And we want, from this year now on, expand the Debian Brasilia group. That's why we created all the process that Lucas mentioned. We're trying to bring more wiki stuff, more Nextcloud space, and also a very well-defined process. Because if we have like, for now we have like 10 people working, but we imagine if we get like 50, we want to give attention to everyone there.
I think Joost might have an opinion there.
Yeah, thanks. I'm also active in publicity team, and we post stuff.
A little closer.
Yeah, like this, yes.
Turn it up.
Publicity team, and we also publicity team also what used to be called Twitter. I think we still post there. So Debian is not completely invisible in like the non-free space. I don't think we have any presence whatsoever on TikTok. I don't know if it would even be possible.
Swirl dance.
Sorry?
A swirl dance craze.
Oh, okay. But it's a tricky issue. Yeah, we want, for instance, all the stuff we do, we want to do on preferably on our own infrastructure. So we have to find a common ground. But I agree with your point that if you want to reach a young audience and you completely ignore like the new media, then you're not getting it. So yeah, and Meetup was also mentioned, and the Meetup alternative. So yeah, it's an issue indeed. So.
Oh.
As he said, similar case, we have also
bring the mic up.
Okay, we have also faced similar problems like Praveen and everyone is always available in Matrix and Element, and you can't find any people there like from the public. Like they use always WhatsApp, Facebook, everything. So what I did was like I also following Praveen's path. I could also have used Matrix only or Element only, and I can also stayed in the like complete free software environment. But I did was like I act as a bridge. So what I did was like I was also whenever we have a program, like we published the notice in like social media like Telegram and everything, and also some of our tech guys have bridged Telegram and all this with Element, and so that we can communicate with Praveen directly or people like this, because he is the expert. For us, he is the expert. Sorry, my phone, I think.
Oh.
Okay. So for us, he is the expert. More than I talk, like the information he can give to the community or who can contribute to the community is more than like more than me. He is the best one. So I talk to them like I give a initial introduction to him and I invite them to this community. So that's what we did, because it's very difficult to bring people to Matrix and everything, because obviously everyone want to be in a safe zone where their own people are. So this is a very, that's a similar situation everywhere. Like the thing is like, even if I talk, even if I ask, please come to, if I say, please come to free software, then they will ask me, why are you using WhatsApp then? You're talking to me in WhatsApp. At that time, I would say, like, there are people there. If I talk like this, if I stayed in Matrix or Element, you don't know me. You don't know such people exist. So such a bridge is actually needed. That is inevitable. But we shouldn't, like, I don't tell our people to leave the free software ideology. So if the free software ideology should persist, we need people in such a environment, like such a platform. So we need both anyway. That's what I have to say. It's actually like kind of a controversial thing.
Just a note that we have about 3 minutes left.
Yeah, on this note, I think it's where we are present, like in those non-free social medias. We also need to think about the type of the content that we are presenting to our users. For instance, I think for young people, reading a wiki page, like huge with a bunch of information, is kind of boring. So we identified that in Debian Brasilia, we are trying to start a project of creating like quick videos presenting some specific stuff. I think Jonathan did that a while ago about some specific stuff in Debian. We are thinking about doing that, but for how can you contribute? For instance, grab a package from the archive, build locally. That's easy and quick. Edit something.
We're down to 1 minute. Can I just do a very quick wrap up? Thank you all for coming. We have an IRC channel, #Debian-local groups on OFTC. We do have a mailing list, which the address of which will hopefully appear in the talk notes. And thank you hugely to all the people who came and presented. And we'll hopefully see you next year at the same BoF. Different place, same channel. See you then. Bye.